What is happening, guys? We have another beautiful day here. This week has been really nice, so it's actually allowed me to get the garage door open while I'm working on this. But what I've been doing is I've just been chipping away slowly. Each day I kind of put in a couple hours and take it a little bit further. What I'm doing is kind of just working along the whole floor all the way throughout to the back of the trunk. And yeah, then today I think the plan is to try and get as much of the trunk done. And see how far we get tonight. I'm really not in too much of a rush to get everything back in the car at this point. I just want to ensure I do a really good job so that when I finally put everything back in, hopefully it makes a huge difference with everything. But we will find out when that's all complete. Time to get back to this job because it's not going to wrap itself. Anyways, so let's get going. What is happening, guys? All right, update time. It's been a lot of work. I kind of took yesterday off for the most part. I only did a little bit. I just finished off the trunk. But yeah, let's show you guys what I have done up to this point. I'm pretty much, well, I think, done the floor, the wheel wells, the trunk, excluding the door cards. I think all I have left is I want to end up doing the rear deck, and I need to do the ceiling. Let me show you what I've done so far. Brighten her up a little bit. Might get a little grainy on you. So you can see entire trunk and wheel wells, as far as I could go, really, have been completed. I even did the backside to the trunk. The actual body of the car, I also added just a couple pieces. But the nice thing about the trunk is if there's anything I wanted to get to in the future, I could. It's super accessible. It's not like I'm stripping out the whole floor again. And then even kind of underneath, you can see I've gone all the way to the top. But yeah. So trunk is done. You've seen all this before. I guess this part we haven't. So these are the obviously the top of the coilovers here, top of the suspension, and then I've trimmed around this brace because I didn't think that needed any. All the way down, trimmed around this brace, because that doesn't need it. You can see I trimmed around the fuel pump, these lids back here, or I guess the tank on the seats. Overall, I think I did a pretty good job. I think I did. After doing some reading online, I think I've heard people say stuff about the rear deck is pretty rattly, so I think I'm gonna pop off this trim. And lastly, I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing these braces. They're kind of loud right now, but I'm thinking once I do the actual roof, it might also reduce the sound coming out of these, just because they're obviously attached to it. I'm gonna keep plugging away, get the body of this car done, and hopefully this stuff works, man. Hopefully this stuff works. I popped off that rear deck trim cover lid thing, and I just wanted to kind of show you an example, just so you can see how loud it actually is. That thing is super noisy. I'm gonna add some material on top of that, do the roof, then we'll see where we're at. Okay guys, just a little update. So I will say this. This is the first time in this whole project where I'd say I didn't do a super clean job. I know a lot of people will say that like you don't need to have 100% coverage in order to get obviously the desired effect. And I do believe that, but I do it anyway because I feel like by going overkill, if anything, you're just gonna get, well, you would think, even if your results diminish the more and more product you put on, I do still feel like it's still going to be an improvement over just kind of like a limited placement of the product. But nonetheless, I just felt this whole area was a little awkward in general, and just, I didn't think it was worth it. So I kind of just, I'd say got majority coverage, but I didn't do every single piece of it. But just so you can hear how it sounds. I think it definitely sounds better. Not perfect, but definitely better. Pop the deck back on here and cover up this hideous mess because, to be honest, everything else looks so much better. This is like probably my most embarrassing portion of the car. I don't know. I'm just getting maybe a little bit lazy. What is up, guys? Just kind of briefly cover I guess what I've done up to this point. Before I started on the door cards, I actually went ahead and finished the cabin of the car. I actually sound deadened as far up the firewall at the front where your feet go. I went as far up as I possibly could. So before, like you would have seen in the video, I only took the sound deadener probably just past where the factory insulation began. It was definitely awkward just trying to get that insulation pulled up, but ended up doing a pretty good job. As you can see, there's obviously all the door components off right now. So I've kind of just got the passenger side all here, the driver's side over there. I'm just kind of doing 2 doors at a time just to try and keep everything organized. But you would have already seen this. So I've already got all the way up the transmission. And then what I ended up doing is there was a few clips on this factory insulation. And I put them back on now, but as you can see, I don't really know what I can do. You have to just take my word for it. But I ended up going all the way up to about, I'd say here. So on both passenger and driver side. So definitely took the material quite a bit further this time. So I'm happy with that, and I think I'm happy to say we're done the floor. Obviously trunk, wheel wells, rear deck, the roof, all complete. All I have left is the 4 door cards, which, as you can see, 2 of them have already been removed. I removed everything that was in the way, removed that wrap and insulation, the factory stuff that was in the way. And then I already went ahead on both sides and I wiped everything down with a wet rag, and I also wiped it down with just a rag with some alcohol on it. I did do the inner shell as well as the outer shell. Definitely want to make sure when you're covering up these doors that you do both. And then on the inside, so pretty noisy. It'll make a big difference when it comes to the sound quality, but then also a huge difference hopefully with some road noise, but also just when it comes to even closing the doors, you're not going to get that awful rattly, that sounds awful. We're going to get more of that nice quality thud, something more similar to what you'd get in like a German car. So that's what we're going for, at least. But so I'm going to do these door cards, probably just continue time-lapsing it, and then see what we have for time. And then it's time to throw this interior back in and see how it goes. The ultimate test. Also, just for a little comparison, if I close these doors, oof, that one sounds horrible. So if I just knock on this, and I knock on the roof, big difference. Well, so anyways, I'm going to continue on. I've been working at this project for probably like the last week and a half and kind of chipping away at it each day, kind of putting in a couple hours, few hours here and there. It's just so much work. It's so tedious, monotonous that honestly, I just felt like if I tried to rush it and get it done in like 2 days, 3 days, I just feel like I would have gotten so tired of it that I probably would have gotten lazy and impatient, and I feel like I'd start taking shortcuts, which if I'm going this far and doing this much work is the last thing I want to do. I want to do a quality job. So yeah, I'm happy I took my time with this and did it right. I don't want to rush it, don't want to get impatient. So take your time if you can, or if you can't, just work at it in chunks. Just do chunks at a time. Don't tear apart your whole car like me. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get that going. Get the GoPro in time-lapse mode and just start working on the doors and getting these things sounding a lot better.
I feel so low.
Alrighty guys, update time. I want to show you what I've done to this one door, so then I can just kind of proceed, knock out the last three, and I'm going to do exactly what I've done in this one. So same as the rear deck of the car, I didn't go for complete coverage on the doors. I don't want to. There's way too much going on, and I'd be at this forever if I wanted to do like a 100% job like I did with the floors and the roof and the trunk. The doors, I wanted to just ensure that it made a difference. And so what I kind of did is I was just patching it kind of between bolts and holes, and I didn't want to go over too much stuff. I didn't want to interfere with anything. I want to kind of stay clear of all that. So I just kind of went around and just filled holes. It was just a big giant puzzle that, you know, obviously doesn't fully match up. I'd say I probably got about at least probably 80% coverage, and I think that is definitely good enough for the doors. You can also see on the inside, if I brighten her up a little bit, I did go inside the door panel, so I basically ran strips all along each little chunk. As you can see, there's some kind of bars on the door. Here on the top, I've gone as far down as I could. As you can see, you can't really get any access to the top. There's a bar in the way. But yeah, basically did as much of the outer door as I could. Rolled it out the best I could. I tried to keep everything within, or actually I did keep everything within where that plastic wrap is gonna go back, because that had some insulation on it. So I'm gonna obviously put that back on it. After I was complete with the deadening, went around, and like I said, I just kind of felt around. So and anywhere I felt like there was a bit more of a rattle, I kind of just patched in that area, and that's kind of how I went about the doors. So no need to do 100% coverage. I feel like that would just take way too long. Another thing I wanted to point out was the other day I went out to, I think this was Home Depot actually, and I found what's called this camper seal foam tape. It's essentially for sealing gaps between panels, prevents drafts, noise, vibrations, and it's self-adhesive. So this is essentially what it looks like, and so you can just kind of cut it up however you need it. And what I've done, as you can see, I wanted to add some additional foam just to, you know, try to eliminate any other rattles in the door. So anywhere behind these like cables, I've added some foam. You can see the little gray foam patches. You know, right there. And then also where these are running from like the door locks and door handle, I've also tucked some foam in behind there, just because I felt like when the door closes, these guys might have a tendency to kind of hit the frame of the car. So I've kind of put some in behind those. I think that foam is a good idea. I'm going to use that on the rest of the doors, just like this one. And then I might even use it on certain areas on the floor if I feel like there's some cables there that I want to tuck it underneath before I put the carpet back in. What I'm gonna do is put that plastic wrap back on, put everything back on, and then yeah, just kind of clean it up. But I'm gonna keep plugging away just to get a little bit of a sound difference here. Now on this side, alright guys, so quick update. Just wanted to show you kind of the, I guess, more or less finished product. You can see I just have the door card and the little trim pieces that go into it left, but everything else is all buttoned up. Got the plastic wrap with the insulation all back in, the door handle, the speakers, you know, double checked everything, tweeters back in, plugged in, mirrors plugged in, you know, got all my cords out that need to be outside of this wrap. Wanted to kind of show you the finished product. It's nice because it kind of, not only is it extra insulation, but it kind of tucks away all that kill mat that I just put on the door. So it just, I think it just cleans it up a little bit, which is nice, even though it all gets covered in the end. I reinstalled the full door card, and now when we shut it, Oh, doesn't that sound better? No rattle. Maybe it doesn't have quite as nice of a thud as I thought it would, but to be honest, for a frameless window door, the style of this I always thought was cool. The functionality part, I mean, it's not very stable, so it's always going to be a really rattly door. So maybe I didn't achieve the results that I was hoping it would as far as closing it. But overall, I'm actually pretty satisfied. And now let's check out this door. I haven't touched this door. I'll take it. That's better. And now the music will sound better. Everything should sound better. Okay, I'm going to do that on the next 3.
Start it up.
What is happening, guys? I think I'm pretty much done. I can't quite wrap my head around it, but I think I'm done. I think I'm finally done. Honestly, this job is not that fun. It's a ton of work, especially if you do it properly, but I'm hoping it pays off. I'm gonna try and get the interior back in here this afternoon, and if I can, I'll obviously take it for a drive. The only thing that I have not finished yet is the trunk lid. So obviously the whole trunk has been completed. It's just the lid. Doesn't take a lot, but I need to take a break from sound deadening, and I figured since the trunk lid doesn't really get in the way of anything else, I might as well go ahead and put the whole interior back in. Here's kind of a last look at the whole interior while it's still gutted, and just I guess the overall look of the sound deadener. So I'm excited to get this stuff back in, but here's the final look of the car while it's looks the way it does. One other thing I wanted to mention, on the floors and seats and kind of in the areas where there are some wires or cables, I am going to go around just like on the doors and cut up some of that foam just so I can kind of tuck it underneath any of these cables. Last thing I want is for everything to be deadened and nothing to be rattling, and then the cables to be rattling against the surface of the car. But yeah, that's the last thing I think I wanted to mention. Well guys, the moment is here. The job is complete. I'm so happy to finally be able to say that. I don't think I could take another day of sound deadening to be... Actually, that's a lie. The job isn't complete. There is one little piece I forgot about. I still haven't done the lid of the trunk, so I guess for testing purposes, it's not 100% done. I don't think the lid of the trunk will make that big of a difference, but nonetheless, I still will complete that. As you can tell, the garage is clear of all my crap. The interior is fully back in the car. Everything's done. To be fully transparent, I did take the car for a quick drive yesterday. After I finished putting the interior back in, I did take it for a quick spin. I had to see what it was like. Just so you guys know, this is not my very first impression. I wanted to get just a little sense for it where I kind of wrapped up the video. Anyways, let's show you the interior, because I swear it looks so weird. I'm so used to seeing it torn apart and gutted that it actually kind of looks crowded now with everything in there. It's like, it's weird. Interior complete. Let's brighten this up a little bit. Everything is back in. As you can see, we're all back together. Trunk. Also back together. I don't know if you can even see that. There's that complete trunk. And as you can see, trunk lid still has not been completed. But anyways, guys, enough with the rambling. Let's hop in the car. Let's go for a drive. And I don't know if you'll honestly pick up on much difference over video. I feel like, you know, it's going to be more of an in-person thing where you can really hear the difference. Video, I don't know if you'll pick up on it. But you'll have to just kind of go based on what I say. I'm going to be completely transparent, completely honest about the exact differences. Yeah, let's get going. All right. Honestly, one huge difference, like before, cold starts would just rattle this whole car, and it sounded way louder than what it does right now. Like, it is significantly quieter on cold start. Like, I can hear the difference. Unfortunately, sound deadening doesn't make it any easier to get in and out of your car. But gotta love it. Hashtag race car life. Hopefully you guys can see me good. That would suck if that's not the case. Let's just get straight to the point here. I got a few things I want to cover, a few things I want to talk about. Did sound deadening make a noticeable difference for me? Yes, 100% made a difference. It is noticeably quieter overall. I'm going to touch on all the areas where I felt like the sound deadening has made a noticeable improvement. I see when you look at reviews and comments everywhere, you'll see people saying all sorts of things. Some people say it works great. Some people say it works, but barely, or they'll say that it's not worth the amount of effort and the time. Others will say that it doesn't work at all, it didn't do anything. You see all sorts of different, I guess, reviews and answers on on how effective sound deadening is. But I can honestly tell you, sound deadening definitely made a big difference. It made a very noticeable difference for me. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to at least go drive the car once before I finish off the video. So to kick things off, I'm just going to basically go down the list of all the things where I felt like it has noticeably improved the quality of ride. We're going to talk about the music. Music definitely improved. Obviously, you know, a lot of people will use this product when they want to upgrade the sound system in their car. You know, people will use it in their doors to obviously improve the quality of their speakers, the sound of the speakers. They will use it in their trunk if you have maybe like a subwoofer in your trunk. For me, obviously, I used it in all 4 doors, and it made a big difference in sound quality. I noticed it right away. The speakers sound better. In fact, it actually makes me want to upgrade the speakers now. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a video later on, maybe even this year, of me upgrading the speakers in the doors, because 100% the quality improved, and now I want to improve it even more. But so yes, music definitely sounds better, 100%. As far as, like, obviously a lot of people sound deaden their cars as they're trying to, you know, they're trying to get an improvement in the overall, I guess, road noise, exhaust noise, drone, in those areas. And I will say this, is there an improvement? Definitely. Like, I can tell you that the overall road noise and the, I guess, just the noise of the exhaust, it definitely has been reduced. Has it been like cut in half? Absolutely not. Like, it's still a loud car. And I think if you're doing sound deadening because you think it's going to make the car more quiet, honestly, that's the wrong idea. What you want to do in a situation like that is you're better off probably focusing more on the insulation, to be honest, because the insulation is really what's going to help, you know, reduce I think the level of noise. But overall, I would also say this: if you're trying to make, say, a car like mine quiet, I'd say you're in the wrong car. It's like, ultimately, it's always going to be a loud car. Definitely have your expectations straight when you're going into this. But did it improve? Did it get a little bit quieter in here? Is the road noise reduced? 100%. I definitely can hear the difference. It's just, it's not like it got cut in half or anything. So I'll say this, let me jump to something that was a big improvement, which is what the material is there for, in my opinion, is the rattles. Like, as we know, Subarus, especially like a 13-year-old Subaru, it's like, they're not known for their interiors. It's a sports car. It's like a cheap interior. You're not getting like some German quality in this, right? And so you can't really expect that. I know, as even for Subaru, as the years have gone on, the Subaru interiors have gotten a lot better. So obviously more money has been spent into insulating them. They're obviously going to be quieter inside as they get newer. Like the newest STi, I'm sure, sounds way better inside. This model and older definitely are going to be way more rattly, way more noisy. Like, there's just nothing that's been done really on these cars. And so with that being said, the starting point for this car was a tin box. Like, it was so rattly, so hollow sounding. Like, it just, there was nothing that was really done to it to try and help improve the in-cabin experience. So it was just a loud, rattly car. Every single bump I would hit, there would be some sort of noise associated with it. Like, every bump or dip in the road, I would hear a rattle or a clunk or some sort of sound associated with the bump. That is like one of the biggest improvements I noticed. Every single time now I hit a dip or a bump, it is so weird because I'm so used to rattles and clunks. They're gone. It gives you the feeling as if your car is like tighter in a way. Like, things don't sound as loose anymore. It makes me feel like I'm driving essentially a new car, because in a new vehicle, when you hit bumps, you don't hear anything. And now that's what I get. It's silent. Every single bump, it is quiet. And that has been probably my favorite improvement of all. And that's really what you're getting out of sound deadening in the first place. It's not used to like reduce the sound, even though you will get some improvement there. it's really with the rattles, right? Like you're deadening the metal from being able to resonate and create so much extra noise. And so now that the metal has been essentially deadened, it's canceled that. And so the metal isn't able to, like, you know, vibrate and just carry sound through it, if that makes sense. Like even the exhaust alone, you throw like an aftermarket exhaust on these cars, man, that exhaust rattles against the body of the car and it is so noisy. Now the exhaust sounds so pure. It's just like the sound I hear driving is the sound that the exhaust is actually creating. I'm not getting all the extra sounds associated from the rattling that the exhaust creates. And so it sounds so much more natural. It's weird. It's almost like the ride's gotten quieter, but it's almost just like the absence of all these extra noises that I would have had to listen to that I don't anymore. And so there is no question that the ride quality in here has greatly improved. Like since doing it, I am so happy that I did it. Like, it's weird. It sounds so much better. It's almost like, as far as the exhaust, before, when you get on it, it would just sound like you hear everything around you. Now it just sounds like the exhaust is coming out the back, which, I mean, obviously it is, but that's where I'm hearing the sound, is from the back of the car. I'm not like hearing it from like underneath me or all around me. The thing is, overall, there's no question that this stuff is a lot of work. Could I say that everybody would deem this worthwhile? Probably not. I think it really just depends on the car you drive, you know, the situation you're in, and how badly you want to improve the car a little bit. You're not gonna make a loud car quiet. It's just like, if that's your goal, you should probably buy a different car. And that's not what I want. I mean, I drive the Subaru because I love this car. And so of course I want it to be loud. Of course I want to hear all the sounds. I don't want that to disappear. I don't want it to be like silent in here. Of course, that's part of the driving experience. It's just so much more, I guess, refined, if that makes sense. Yeah, and overall, like I think I mentioned it earlier, like you get more of the noises you want to hear, less of the noises you don't. The turbo noises and the spool and the air being pulled in. It's just like the exhaust coming out the back. Even the external wastegate, like the external wastegate is still loud, but it has definitely improved. But like I said earlier, don't do this if you're expecting it to make some massive difference in the overall noise and drone of your car. The one thing I haven't tested is like highway. So what is it like when I'm driving, you know, 100, gear 6, gear 5, gear 6, you know, what does that sound like? I do believe that, you know, highway drone will definitely improve in here. I feel like you probably won't ring your ears quite as bad. I feel like it's going to be way easier to have conversation in here. Overall, I think the experience will improve. Ooh, that's the other thing, the pops and the bangs, like they used to be so loud, like even in the cabin. Now it's like, they're still loud, but it's like, it's weird. It's like, it just sounds more like it's coming from further back, like further behind me. So it's not so much a nuisance to me. I mean, maybe other people on the road, but I guess I don't have to deal with that. But it definitely sounds better in cabin. I do actually plan on making another video regarding this. I'm gonna do like a follow-up video. I wanna be able to have a chance to drive the car a little bit more and just try and pick up on, you know, more things that I guess have been improved in the car. But would I recommend this for other people and just more or less what to expect? So I will be doing a follow-up video after I've had more time to drive the car. Like I said, this is like the second time I've been in it. Overall, is it worth it? I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. Depends on the car, depends on what you're looking to get out of it, you know, it depends on what you're willing to put into it, really. Overall, as far as cost, I think this stuff was awesome. I think I used, for this entire car, I think I used maybe 2.5 boxes. Maybe not even. So I ordered 3 boxes and I still have at least half a box, if not even more left. So for an entire car this size, which is obviously a pretty small sedan, 2.5 two and a half boxes did the job for the whole car. So 3 boxes and you're good. And I forget the price I paid. I forget if it was like $90 a box. So I was somewhere around like 270 bucks for all 3. So as far as price goes, I gotta say that's pretty reasonable, especially if you're comparing it to things like Dynamat and stuff. Like, I don't have any experience with Dynamat, but I'm not willing to spend like $1,000 on my car to sound deaden it, especially for the difference that you're gonna get. I wouldn't say that's worth it, but for a few $100 or a couple $100, that the price, 100% worth it. It is a lot of work and it's gonna take you some time, but yeah, I don't know what else to say, guys. Like, I'm happy with it. Anyways, so overall, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope, you know, this maybe helps some people out there if you're debating it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up.